They thought she was just another scared wife in the neighborhood. 4 fake HOA cops, guns drawn, stormed up to our porch at sunset, barking orders like they owned the block. What they didn't know was that my wife, calm, barefoot, and sipping sweet tea, wasn't just anybody. She was the tactical instructor who trained Navy SEALs. And that night, in front of half the neighborhood, she showed these wannabe tough guys what happens when you pull a weapon on the wrong woman. Sunset in Willow Glen always felt peaceful. The orange glow would bleed over the rolling hills, kids' laughter echoed through the cul-de-sacs, and the smell of grilling dinners carried on the breeze. For years, I thought nothing could disturb that calm, until the HOA changed leadership. The so-called security committee was supposed to handle minor issues, parking complaints, gate codes, maybe the occasional lost dog. But under their new captain, a stocky guy named Vince Ralston, things escalated. They started wearing fake tactical vests with HOA police patches. They rolled around in blacked-out SUVs with cheap flashing lights. They even carried airsoft guns that looked real, until one day we realized some weren't replicas at all. At first, we laughed it off. Everyone called them mall ninjas. But power, once tasted, poisons quickly. Vince and his crew began harassing teens walking home after dark, measuring grass with rulers, even issuing fines on the spot, demanding cash. I had the luxury of ignoring them because I knew a secret no one else did. My wife, Hannah, wasn't just a homemaker. She wasn't just the woman who baked cookies for the block's 4th of July picnic. Hannah was a decorated Navy veteran. For 12 years, she served as a tactical instructor at Coronado, training America's most elite warriors. Even after retirement, she consulted part-time for defense contractors. She never boasted about it. To the neighbors, she was just the lady with the golden retriever and the rose garden. But to anyone who had ever stood on the mats with her, she was a legend. And on one fiery evening in July, Vince and his HOA cops learned that lesson the hard way. It started over something petty, like it always does: our driveway. I had parked our second truck half a foot over the faded HOA line. Mind you, the line wasn't even legal. It was a guideline Vince himself had spray painted. That afternoon, Hannah found a neon orange violation notice taped across our garage door. You have 24 hours to move your vehicle or the HOA will take corrective action. She laughed. Corrective action? What is this, middle school? She peeled it off, tossed it into recycling, and went back to pruning her roses. That evening, I was inside fixing dinner when I heard gravel crunching, then voices, sharp, commanding. "Step back, ma'am, hands where we can see them." I dropped the spatula and ran to the front door. What I saw froze me. 4 men in mismatched tactical gear stood in our yard, black vests with HOA police patches, cargo pants tucked into boots, and, God help them, 2 of them were pointing handguns at my wife. Real steel, not toys. And Hannah? She wasn't flinching. She stood barefoot on the porch, still holding her iced tea, eyes narrowed like a hawk. "What exactly do you boys think you're doing?" she asked, voice calm as stone. Vince, puffing his chest, took a step forward. "Ma'am, you're in violation. Interfering with HOA enforcement is a serious offense. We're here to collect the fine or impound your vehicle." "You're on my property, pointing firearms. That makes you the criminals tonight." "Lady, don't test us. This is official business." That's when I saw it, the tremor in his hands. These weren't disciplined officers. They were scared men playing soldier, one bad twitch away from tragedy. My gut nodded. "Hannah," I started, stepping outside. Her eyes flicked at me, then back at Vince. "Go back inside," she said firmly. "I've got this." Something in her tone made me obey. The standoff stretched. Neighbors peeked through blinds. A few pulled out phones, recording. The entire block was about to witness a showdown. Then Hannah set her glass down, In one motion, smooth, practiced, she twisted her body sideways, her hand snapping Vince's wrist. The gun flew from his grip, clattering across the concrete. Before he could react, she drove her knee into his thigh, folding him like a lawn chair. Gasps rippled from the onlookers. The second man raised his weapon. Hannah pivoted, one arm striking his elbow, forcing the muzzle skyward. Her other hand chopped his forearm, and the pistol dropped into her palm. She ejected the mag mid-motion and tossed the useless frame onto the grass. "Two down," she muttered. The third rushed her from the left. Hannah sidestepped, using his momentum to slam him into the porch column. His vest smacked against the wood with a dull thud. She plucked the zip ties from his belt and bound his wrists in seconds. The last one hesitated, eyes wide, finger hovering on the trigger. Hannah leveled a glare that could freeze fire. "Go ahead," she said, voice deadly quiet. "See what happens." The man dropped his gun. By the time real police sirens wailed in the distance, all 4 HOA cops were unarmed, restrained, and sitting shamefaced on our lawn. An officer from the sheriff's department, a man I knew, Deputy Rogers, stepped out of his cruiser blinking at the scene. "What the hell happened here?" I said, "HOA." Neighbors burst out laughing, phones flashed, videos streamed to the neighborhood group chat. Within minutes, the story spread like wildfire, the fake cops who thought they could bully a Navy SEALs trainer. That night, Vince and his crew were hauled off in real handcuffs. Charges: assault with a deadly weapon, impersonating officers, trespassing, extortion. The next HOA meeting was the biggest in history. Attendance spilled out of the clubhouse. Angry residents demanded accountability. Hannah didn't even speak. She just sat quietly while others told the board they were done being terrorized. By unanimous vote, the security committee was dissolved. Vince was permanently banned from holding any HOA position. And me? I watched my wife, my calm, barefoot, iced tea sipping wife, become the quiet hero of Willow Glen. Weeks later, people still brought it up. Neighbors dropped off pies, thanked her for protecting their kids. A few even asked if she offered self-defense lessons. Hannah just smiled and said, "Never pick a fight with someone whose job was to train the best fighters in the world."